Today I got to watch a woman be called the N-word in front of her daughters, so that was fucking fun. And to make matters worse, it was a Latino man who did it. And as I go through this story, I do think it's important that you know the sort of racial makeup of everybody in it, so if I'm pointing that out, it's just to provide further context. There's this huge food festival in LA this weekend, Independence Weekend. It's called Foodieland, and it's exactly how it sounds. It's a whole bunch of food trucks. And basically, my friend, who's a black woman, invited me to go. She also had invited her husband, who's a Mexican man, and his friend, who's an Asian man. So we got some food when I first got there, and we went to the like seating area and really couldn't find four seats altogether. But we found this table where there were two seats, and her husband was like, "Hey, you guys sit here. Like, we'll go find somewhere. We'll meet up afterwards." The reason why there was only two seats at this table is because this Latina lady said that she was holding like half the table, like literally a whole side of this picnic table plus half of the other side of the table for her family. And then there was these two other very young black girls who I could tell were probably just waiting on a parent or something, who were sitting there hanging out. At a certain point, this Latino man comes along who I assume to be the partner of the Latino woman sitting there, and he seems visibly upset at the fact that she hasn't held the full table, but then literally right next to us, another table opens up a whole line of seating. So she moves over to there to save those seats, and she says to him, like, "Hey, hang on to the extra seats that are still at the table." Maybe like 5-10 minutes later, the a person who appears to be the mother of these two young black girls across from us and another black girl who I assume to be another daughter of hers, maybe a sister or something like that. They come, they have food as well, and they decide to sit down next to the other two young girls. The Latino man, who has been drinking and clearly has a drink still in front of him, starts kind of going off at them and just being like, "We're holding those seats, what the fuck?" And then the, mom of the group is being like, "Okay, but no." like she's just basically telling him, "You can't hold this many seats. You guys have like almost two tables worth." She decides to just ignore him, sits down with her daughters, and they start eating their meal. And he continues to berate them. And meanwhile, I'm telling him, "Listen, me and my friend are basically done. Like, we're about to go. You can have these seats. You'll have more space." He ignores that to continue yelling at this woman. And shout out to this queen, completely unbothered, with her shades on, eating her fucking ribs and mac and cheese, because she was just like paying him no mind and literally just being like, "Bro, it's a seat. If and when it becomes an issue, we'll find a way to make space. But it's a seat, and me and my kids need to eat their food." At this point, the Latina lady is looking over from the other table, and she looks visibly concerned that this man is like yelling at him, but also like she's not doing that much to fucking stop him. And then I see like three other maybe like teenage boys pop up, and I'm like, "Oh, this must be who they were saving the seats for." If this is your entire family, you guys did not need as much space as you were saving. But at this point, the lady and her three kids or whatever are all clearly just watching this man berate the black woman. And I think at a certain point, they like stand up and are like, "Yo, we gotta go." Because I think she can notice that he's belligerent at this point and he's just not going to let up over some stupid shit when she's basically telling him, "We don't even need the seats. Our kids don't even like have food and want to sit down. Like, we're ready to leave this space." Anywho, the drunk man gets up and on his way away from the tables, he whispers something into the black lady's ear and walks away. Smooth like that, she barely reacts to it or whatever. And we ask her, "Hey, what did he say to you?" And she calmly says to us, without even skipping a beat of eating her food, that he called her the N-word. At this point, my jaw drops. This man took time from his busy schedule of being drunk to walk past you, whisper in your ear, "F you, N-word," or whatever the hell he said to her. And I'm just like, what the fuck? Over a fucking seat that you guys didn't even end up needing? And at the point that you said that to her, you didn't even end up, you knew that you did not need it. I think I'm a little bit in shock at the casualness of that racism. Like, the first thought in your head wasn't even to call her the B word or even the C word. It was to call her an extremely offensive racial term when you are also a minority. And now that lady has to go home and remind her daughters that this is how you have to react when shit like that happens. Because if she was to pop off, people probably still would have immediately assumed that she was in the wrong. Or this fucking 6 foot something, probably 300-pound man could have physically harmed her if she decided to retaliate. So this woman just had to sit there and take that shit on the chin. I just want everybody that visits this page to know that I am not as calm as that woman. I have a history of violence. I would rather have my ass beat by a grown man than have zero reaction to you disrespecting me in that manner in front of my fucking kids over something as, like, ridiculous as a seat. And almost like clockwork, my friend's husband and his friend come back by that point, and he's like, "What just happened here?" Like, after we have just been trying to, like, basically give that woman praise for not going the fuck off on him, because I would have thrown a drink in his face. And, you know, after getting the whole story or whatever, my friend's husband is like, next time somebody says that to you, just say chinga tu madre to them. And I was like, nigga, where were you 2 minutes ago? We needed you. Because I can say the N-word. I can say the N-word. That other man cannot. And then my friend's husband's friend, again, an Asian man, was like, wow, I just can't believe somebody would like do something like that. And I was like, well, race is a funky thing here in LA. Anyway, I just needed to share that because it was so wild to me on July 5th, 2025, with all the shit going on in this world. That's what you want to do. That's the kind of person that you want to be in front of your fucking wife and children or whoever they were to you. And before y'all come into my comments trying to start a race war over this, in no way am I saying that this is the behavior of all Latinx people in Los Angeles, in Cali, even in the entirety of the United States. I am not someone who believes in judging an entire group based on the behaviors of one ignorant, drunk individual. But yeah, like, I already know that this is a big problem. I have plenty of friends from various Latin countries, and they already talk about the colorism and the racism and stuff that happens in their families. So this is just a reminder that even when your uncle gets drunk, he's still not allowed to say the N-word. And let him say it to the wrong person, they gonna have their fucking cousins come and run up on his ass. Or worse, he gonna say it to the wrong woman and catch a fade right there from somebody that he didn't think could do it. I don't have a way to end this. Just maybe try not to be racist tomorrow. And if you know somebody who is, maybe give them a fucking slap across the face, because I can't do it.